In a small village deep in the heart of Africa, there lived a loving couple, Akil and Zara. They had been married for 5 years, but there was something missing from their lives. Child. Akil and Zara loved each other very much, but no matter how hard they tried, they could not have a baby. Zara especially was heartbroken. Every time she saw other mothers with their babies, her heart ached, and she prayed silently for her turn. The village was filled with whispers. People began to talk behind Zara's back, blaming her for not being able to give Akil a child. But Akil stood by her side, holding her hand and reassuring her that one day, their prayers would be answered. One day, Akil and Zara decided to visit a hospital in the nearest town. They traveled for hours, holding hands and hoping for good news. Doctor examined them carefully and ran several tests. After what seemed like an eternity, the doctor called them into his office. "I'm afraid there is no medical reason why you haven't had a child yet," he said gently. "You are both healthy. Sometimes these things take time." Zara tried to hold back her tears, but Akil squeezed her hand tighter. "We'll keep trying," he whispered to her. They left the hospital with heavy hearts but did not lose hope. Back in their village, an elderly herbalist named Mama Juma heard about Akil and Zara's struggles. She invited them to her small hut and offered them a special herbal tea that she had prepared. "This tea has helped many women who couldn't have children," she said confidently. Zara and Akil drank the tea every day, following Mama Juma's instructions. Weeks turned into months, but still nothing happened. Zara felt the weight of disappointment growing heavier on her shoulders, but she kept praying and believing that one day, her miracle would come. Zara had always been a woman of faith. She believed that God was watching over her and would answer her prayers. One day, she decided to fast and pray for a miracle. She went to the village church every day, kneeling in front of the altar and asking God to bless her with a child. Akil joined her in fasting and prayer, their hearts united in hope. They prayed for days, weeks, and months, but the answer they were waiting for didn't come. Yet they refused to give up. Zara's faith remained strong, and Akil continued to support her every step of the way. Through it all, there was one person who stood by Zara without question: her mother-in-law, Mama Amina. Unlike many other mothers-in-law, who might have blamed their sons' wives for infertility, Mama Amina loved Zara deeply. She treated her like her own daughter and always encouraged her to keep hoping. "God's time is the best," Mama Amina would say as she sat with Zara under the mango tree in their yard. "Your time will come, my dear. Don't let anyone make you feel less than the beautiful and fruitful woman you are." Zara was so grateful for her mother-in-law's love and support. Mama Amina's words were like a balm to her wounded heart. Together, they prayed and believed that one day, Zara's womb would be blessed. As the years passed, the village gossip grew louder. People started whispering even more about Zara. Some cruel people even suggested that Akil should leave her and find another wife who could give him children. But Akil loved Zara too much to ever consider such a thing. He ignored the hurtful words and focused on comforting his wife. "We are in this together," he would tell her. "No matter what anyone says, I will never leave you." Mama Amina also stood up for Zara whenever she heard the gossip. She would tell anyone who would listen that Zara was a good wife and that one day, she would be a mother. Her strong voice silenced many of the village gossips. Mama Amina continued to encourage Zara through the difficult years. "You are not alone," she would say. "I am praying for you every day. I know that God hears our prayers. Don't give up, Zara. Your miracle is on the way." Zara felt a deep sense of comfort whenever she spoke to her mother-in-law. Mama Amina's faith was unshakable, and it gave Zara the strength to keep going. Even when Zara felt like giving up, Mama Amina's words lifted her spirits. Despite the challenges they faced, Akil and Zara never lost hope. They continued visiting doctors, drinking herbal teas, and praying with all their hearts. Every night, they held hands and whispered their hopes and dreams to each other. "I can see it," Akil would say with a smile. "One day we will hold our baby in our arms, and everything we've been through will be worth it." Zara would smile back at him, her heart filled with love. They were in this together, and as long as they had each other, they knew they could face anything. One day, after many years of trying and praying, something unexpected happened. Zara woke up feeling different. She felt a warmth in her heart that she hadn't felt in a long time. Could it be possible? She didn't want to get her hopes up, but something inside her told her that things were about to change. She shared her feelings with Akil, who smiled and hugged her tightly. "I believe it too," he whispered. "Let's keep praying." Several weeks later, Zara visited the hospital for a routine checkup. As the doctor examined her, he paused and smiled. "Congratulations, Zara," he said gently. "You are going to be a mother." Tears filled Zara's eyes as she realized what she had just heard. After all the years of waiting, praying, and hoping, God had finally answered their prayers. She couldn't wait to share the good news with Akil and Mama Amina. When Zara arrived home, she found Akil and Mama Amina sitting together, as they often did. With tears of joy streaming down her face, she shared the wonderful news. "We're going to have a baby," she cried. Akil and Mama Amina jumped up and hugged her tightly. It was a moment of pure joy and gratitude, and they all thanked God for the miracle they had been waiting for. The months that followed were filled with excitement as Akil, Zara, and Mama Amina prepared for the arrival of the baby. They decorated the baby's room, bought tiny clothes, and prayed every day for the health and happiness of their child. Mama Amina, who had been a source of strength and encouragement throughout the years, was especially excited. She couldn't wait to hold her grandchild in her arms and see the joy that the baby would bring to Akil and Zara's lives. Finally, after 9 long months, the day came. Zara gave birth to a beautiful baby boy. Akil and Zara were overjoyed, and Mama Amina's eyes filled with tears as she held her grandson for the first time. "This is the blessing we've been waiting for," she whispered. "God is faithful." The journey had been long and difficult, but in the end, love, faith, and hope had triumphed. The little family was complete, and they knew that no matter what challenges life brought, they would face them together. A few years after the birth of their son, Zara became pregnant again. This time, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl named Amani, which means peace. Akil and Zara were overjoyed once more, but their joy was soon mixed with concern when they learned that Amani was born with a physical disability. She had difficulty walking, and the doctors explained that her condition would require lifelong care. Though it was a challenging reality, Akil and Zara were determined to raise Amani with the same love and devotion they gave to their son. They never once saw her as less than perfect and believed that, like her name, she would bring peace and joy to their family. As Amani grew older, the village began to notice her disability. Sadly, not everyone shared the love and acceptance that Akil and Zara had for their daughter. Children would stare and make hurtful comments, while adults whispered behind the family's back, questioning what curse might have caused her condition. "She's not like other children," they would say. "How can she ever amount to anything?" The gossip and cruel remarks hurt Amani deeply. She couldn't understand why people treated her differently, and there were days when she would cry in her mother's arms, asking why she couldn't be like the other children. Despite the discrimination and difficulties, Akil and Zara stood firmly by Amani's side. They never allowed the harsh words of others to diminish their love for her. Akil would tell her, "You are special, Amani. Your strength is greater than anyone who mocks you." Zara, always her biggest source of comfort, would sit with Amani under the same mango tree where Mama Amina once comforted her. "People may not understand you, but we know who you are," Zara would say gently. "You are destined for greatness, my sweet girl. Never let anyone's words stop you from shining." Amani grew up watching her parents' unwavering love and support, and it fueled her determination to succeed despite her challenges. She refused to let her disability define her or limit her dreams. While other children ran and played, Amani spent hours reading, studying, and learning new skills. She excelled in school, determined to show everyone that she was just as capable as anyone else. Over time, Amani's talent became undeniable. She developed a passion for writing and storytelling, channeling her emotions into her words. Her stories touched the hearts of many, And soon, people began to notice her for more than just her disability. As Amani entered her teenage years, her talent as a writer began to flourish. She started sharing her stories with the world, publishing articles and essays that spoke about overcoming challenges, embracing differences, and finding strength in adversity. Her voice became a beacon of hope for many who had faced discrimination or felt marginalized by society. Amani's words reached far beyond the village. She was invited to speak at schools and community events, where she shared her journey and inspired others to see their own worth, no matter their circumstances. She became a symbol of resilience and strength, proving that her disability was not a limitation but a unique part of her story. By the time Amani reached adulthood, she had achieved a level of fame and success that no one in the village had ever expected. Her writings were celebrated across the country, and she had become a powerful advocate for people with disabilities, speaking on national platforms and inspiring change. The same people who had once mocked and ridiculed her now admired her strength and accomplishments. Amani had become an icon of hope, a voice for those who couldn't speak for themselves, and a reminder that true beauty and success come from within. Through all of Amani's success, her parents, Akil and Zara, remained her greatest supporters. They never sought fame or recognition for themselves, but found immense pride in their daughter's achievements. Akil's words echoed through her life. "We are in this together." Amani's story became a powerful reminder to the world of what love, hope, and determination can accomplish. No longer just the girl who faced discrimination, she became a symbol of triumph, not just for herself but for everyone who had ever been told they couldn't achieve their dreams. As Amani's success grew, so did her gratitude for the people who had stood by her throughout her life. Chief among them was Mama Amina, her grandmother, who had been a pillar of strength for the entire family from the beginning. Akil and Zara often reminisced about the early days of their marriage, when Mama Amina had been their unwavering support. It was her words of encouragement that had kept Zara going through the long years of waiting for children, and her love that had shielded them from the village gossip. Mama Amina had never once blamed Zara for her struggles with infertility, and instead, she had been a constant source of wisdom and hope. Now, as an elderly woman, Mama Amina was a beloved matriarch, cherished by the entire family. Amani, especially, had a deep bond with her grandmother. She knew how much her grandmother's love and prayers had shaped their family and made her success possible. As Amani became more famous and successful, she made sure that her grandmother never lacked anything. Amani often told her, "If it weren't for your love and faith, we wouldn't be here today. You believed in us when the world doubted, and I will never forget that." Amani ensured that Mama Amina had the best care as she grew older, providing for all her needs. She would visit her often, sitting at her feet and listening to the stories of their family's history, the lessons of faith and perseverance that Mama Amina had passed down through the generations. She also made sure that her grandmother's home was always filled with joy and comfort, bringing her gifts and arranging for helpers to assist her with anything she needed. Amani made a personal commitment to ensure that her grandmother lived out her remaining years in peace and abundance, knowing how much she had sacrificed for the family. Even as Mama Amina's health began to decline, her spirit remained strong. She would often tell Amani, "My child, you have made me proud. I knew from the moment you were born that you were destined for great things. You have honored us all." When Mama Amina eventually passed away, it was a time of both sorrow and celebration. The family grieved deeply, but they also celebrated the incredible life that she had lived. Amani made sure that her grandmother's funeral was a grand tribute to her legacy. People from the village and beyond came to honor Mama Amina, remembering her as a woman of great wisdom, love, and strength. Amani stood at the center of the gathering, speaking of the profound impact her grandmother had on their lives. "Mama Amina's love is the foundation of everything we have built," she said, her voice filled with emotion. "Her faith carried us through the hardest times, and her prayers shaped our destiny. I owe everything to her." Though Mama Amina was no longer with them in person, her spirit continued to live on in the family. Amani, Akil, and Zara carried her teachings forward, ensuring that her legacy of love, faith, and resilience would never be forgotten. Amani, now a renowned advocate and writer, would often speak publicly about her grandmother's influence, sharing how Mama Amina's unwavering support had shaped her into the woman she had become. She taught me that no matter what challenges we face, love and faith are stronger than anything, Amani would say. In honor of her grandmother, Amani established a foundation to support women and children with disabilities in rural communities, ensuring that they too could receive the love and support that Mama Amina had given to her family. This foundation became her way of carrying forward the values that her grandmother had instilled in her, making sure that others could experience the same kind of unbreakable love and hope that had transformed her life. And so, the legacy of Mama Amina lived on, not just in the hearts of her family, but in the lives of all those who were touched by her love and strength.